Yo guys, welcome to RenderRam, my name is UVReactor, and today I'm gonna be covering a couple of news. So, for the past 2 weeks, I took a week off, and a person has to recharge their batteries and everything, so I took a week off with my girlfriend, 2 dogs, and we went into the seaside, and it was a battery recharging experience. Oh, by the way, I've also opened up an Instagram page where I'm generally trying to share my personal stuff mostly, but also some bloopers. So if anyone is interested, hit that follow button. And yeah, the other week I attended a 3D conference called UE. It's held in Utrecht in Netherlands. So it's a small conference. It's held actually in an English pub. And the conference lasts for 2 days. And the cool thing about it is, for those 2 days, since it's in a pub, well, after 5 p.m., all the booze is free. So, rivers of beers were flowing. And you can imagine how it looks like when 120-ish 3D nerds kind of ingests all the beer. Well, it was pretty cool. Anywho, here's a photo of me having fun with people from the conference. This is like the entrance of the conference. Zap, I believe some of you may know Zap from one of my videos. And then we have the pool scene who were there. Oh, the dude from Epic Games, Johannes and me just doing whatever. Evermotion guys were there. Unfortunately, I forgot to take a picture. Yeah, I know. But while I was there was some other big news that kind of emerged and, shook the 3D world. And that's that UVReactor got released. So UVReactor is an unwrapping plugin for Macs. I actually did a video of it. It's this one while it was still in beta. But UVReactor was made by the dude who created Rapid Tools, Octopus, and now he created UVReactor. So UVReactor is known to be extremely fast, faster than Rism, faster than Houdini's Unwrap, faster than Max's Unwrap, etc, etc. And now it got released, it got stabled, and there's like a ton of plans on how it will, improve in the future. So I'm gonna kind of showcase how fast actually is, what are some of the key features for UVReactor, and I don't know, at the end of the video I might even give some licenses. I don't know. So, in our lovely Macs, when you install UVReactor, you go here on the top, it says UVReactor, click on Open UVReactor, and you get this. So, for example, if I select the windshield of the car, it gets displayed here. That's the UV of the windshield. But one thing that you can notice, I'm not using any modifiers here, because the UV data is constantly here, and this just literally enables you to see it. Not only that, this pretty much acts like a viewport, like an extra viewport, but for UVs. And another cool thing is, you can actually dock it. Look, you can just dock it here, and that's it. Look, you click on the box, you get all the box UVs, you click on the other windshield, and you get, its UVs, etc, etc. Now, here on the right, you can actually see all the features that UVReactor has. A lot of new features are already in the plan. I'm gonna mention them, later. But, mainly I've been bragging in the beginning of the video that this thing is abnormally fast. So let me kind of just show you how fast we're actually talking about here. So first thing that I want to show is that this thing actually, while working in it, it actually has a viewport speed. So look at this. I just created a teapot. I'm gonna select it. Look, the UVs are already there. And now get this, I'm gonna add segments to like 65, they get updated instantly. Then I'm gonna smash Turbo Smooth, and we got this. This is a very, very dense object. There is one thing. If you wanna manipulate your UVs with UVReactor, you have to be in the editable poly mode. In my previous video where I was covering the beta, I said that ability to modify UVs while other modifiers are stacked will be available in the future. Well, apparently it turned out that that's a bit tricky to do, but there is a kind of a workaround solution for that. So instead of you being able, unfortunately, to work on the UVs while other modifiers are here, the developer will actually introduce a specific modifier to modify the UVReactor UVs. So you're gonna have all your modifier stacks, like things like, I don't know, push, FFD, noise, bend, whatever. And then whatever you wanna, can tweak actually the UVs, you're just gonna put the UVReactor modifier and then you can tweak them. But in the meantime, you can always see what your UVs are doing. Now, one cool thing about UVReactor is it's completely directly linked to editable poly. So the buttons that you have here from the editable poly, you can see that you have the same buttons here. So for example, if I click on the polygon mode here, it's gonna be automatically selected here. But take a look how freaking satisfying this part looks. If I want to select some of the polygons here, I'm just gonna start selecting. Look what happens in the viewport. Look at this. No lag, no nothing, it's completely instant. So, for example, if I, let's say, select these UVs, I can use my standard keys of movement like W, E, R, which is gonna be move, rotate, scale, and I can just go and start, modifying the UVs. I can, rotate them if I want, whatever. Also, if you press the Q, you're gonna go to the transform mode where you can actually scale things, or if you press Control, it's just gonna do, like a scale without stretching, etc. Now, that's UVReactor. The part with the viewport is impressively fast, but let's see how this thing actually performs when it comes to more complex tasks. So first, I'm just gonna brag about the speed here, then we're gonna cover quickly, what features you have and what you can actually do to improve your unwrapping experience. I got a car here. So this car is divided in separate objects. As you can see while I'm clicking, the parts of the car are just appearing here, etc, etc. Now, if I wanted to unwrap this whole car, I'm just gonna select the whole thing. You can see all the UVs. And now from this point, I can literally hit on the flatten button or the unwrap button in my UVReactor and it's just gonna unwrap everything at once. Now, if I wanted to do that in Max, it kind of gives me anxiety to select all these objects and then, apply the unwrap modifier onto everything as an instance. I don't know, it just kind of feels weird. So what I did, I didn't go with that route. I actually attached the whole car into one object, and then I recorded a video here where I'm actually showing how fast does it take for Max to unwrap, this whole car. So in the unwrap, I'm going to use the unfold mode and I'm going to use the quick peel. Now, unfold is a multi-core unwrapping for Max. You know what multi-core means? It means that's fast as hell, right? And I started my journey on unwrapping this whole thing. Now, this video that I recorded lasts for 21 minutes and 7 seconds. And yes, you are waiting for 21 minutes for this thing to complete in Max. Look, I'm just browsing the timelines, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 11, 13. At this point, I opened up the task manager. As you can see, all cores are, pushing, like working hard to create those UVs, etc, etc. And after 21 minutes, the UVing is finally done. So 21 minutes, 4 seconds, the UVing is done. Now, let's see how the UVReactor can compete with that. One note, unfold is in Max is multi-core, right? UVReactor currently is single core. Now, if this is 21 minutes and that's multi-core, and this is single core and it's UVReactor, let's see how much time would it take to process all this. So what I did, I actually just selected all the objects and I'm just gonna scroll down where it says flatten, so flattening, and here I'm gonna click flatten no overlap. So flatten and flatten no overlap, it's actually two different flattening algorithms. Flatten is the old one, which might be slightly accurate, and the flatten no overlap is the newest one, which is far faster, but let's see how fast does it take. So I recorded that video, it was 21 minutes. Of course I didn't show the whole thing because I don't want to waste 21 minutes of just, I don't know, reading books or something. So, but this is going to be actually real time now. So look at this. So I'm just going to go and click flatten no overlap. Click. And yeah, let's see how much does it take a single core UVReactor to flatten the whole freaking car. Okay. Yeah, it's done. A single core. Now at this point we need to, pack our UVs because it literally like flattened each piece depending on where it was placed in the UV space. So now I'm gonna pack it. So under the packing you have actually two options, pack UVs and pack UVs heuristics. The difference is when you click pack UVs, it's just gonna pack them, but it will not, like rescale things, it will not rotate, etc, etc. Like the size of the UV shells will remain the same. But if you click pack UV heuristics, so I just clicked it, and as you can see, in a couple of seconds, it actually packed everything. And now when you look at your car, well, all the UVs are kind of okay, and I don't know, it looks I mean, it looks the way it should. Probably you could be messing with some rotations and that stuff, but in general, this is it. Now, about the packing of this thing. So packing is like the packing process in UVReactor is multi-core, flattening part is single core, and the flattening part was done in roughly 10 to 11 seconds single core compared to unwrap, which is unfold multi-core, which was 21 minutes. That's stupid. And now can you imagine, like the developer actually is planning on, sometimes implementing a multi-core feature for the UVing here. So that 11 seconds is gonna practically become less than a second to UV this freaking giant car. It's a bit stupid. Now, if I want to show this other example, so look at this. I have a cube. It's just a regular cube, and I added, some segments to it. So how can you go about unwrapping that one? So I'm just gonna click on the polygon mode. I'm gonna select all the polygons. I'm gonna scroll down to flatten no overlap. Just gonna click that, and I'm gonna get this. And now I'm gonna go to pack UV with heuristics, and I'm gonna get this, right? Now, if you wanna stitch things, let's say you wanna stitch, sides of the box to this. In Max's unwrap, you can just, you need to carefully select like the edges of, where you want things to be stitched, and they will be stitched there. But get this, I'm gonna go to edge mode. I'm literally gonna select the whole box here. And when you go to the UV topology, you have stitch button. Look at this, stitch, boom. It's a multi-stitch. Now, one thing that I found very cool to be here is it's not like you can only use that for unwrapping. It can actually help you with modeling, because look, if I go here and select these polygons, like they're gonna be selected in the editable poly also. So I can just, manipulate them however I want. So you can like select things by UV shells or whatever. It's a very nifty feature. But now, speaking of speed of UVReactor, it's all cool and dandy when you have, a simple box here and you have this car, which is, to be fair, it's not a small object. But let me go to a more complex scene. So in this complex scene, it's a 1.5 million polygon scene. The car was 200 something thousand. This is 1.5 million. So I got a bunch of sofas here. And these sofas, as you can see, they're not really low poly sofas. It's all exported like mostly from Marvelous Designer. I not only need to unwrap everything, I need to have everything rotated correctly, and I need my UVs to all be the same size throughout all the sofas, right? So all of the islands need to be in correct real world size. So look at this. I'm gonna select all of them. So this process of selecting, because I'm cutting the video sometimes, so this process of selecting took roughly 5 seconds for it to appear here, and we got this. So I'm gonna hit on the flatten button. So actually I'm gonna click the flatten no overlap, and that will unwrap, all the sofas. Okay, and all of them are now flattened. This whole process took about 35 seconds. To flatten all of them. Like, we are talking multiple objects, everything flattened. Now, after this whole flattening process is done, I need to do a couple of things to kind of finish off my unwrapping. I need to pack everything, I need to rotate everything correctly, and I need to set the correct textile density. Textile density, if you don't know what that is, that means that I want all of my UV shells or UV islands to be based on a real world scale of 50 times 50 centimeters. Why 50 times 50? It's just a number that I can easily remember. Everything that I unwrap, I always unwrap it. If it's a larger scale object, I always unwrap it to the scale of 50 times 50. It's just easy to remember, and whenever I'm, applying a texture there, I know what the size I'm dealing with. I'm just gonna go to my UV packing now and click pack UV heuristics. By the way, these options here, that's for a more precise packing. And this is basically important if you're dealing with gaming scenarios where you need to save every freaking chunk of the UV space. If you're not in gaming or like super precise packing, the default numbers are okay. So let me click on pack UV heuristics. After about, 5-6 seconds, we get this. And this is everything packed. By the way, speaking of packing, I'm just gonna show, so the car scene that I had, when I packed that one versus how Max's unwrap packs things. So this is the example. So this is that car scene packed with the UVReactor, and this is the packing of Max's unwrap. So as you can see, you have a large chunk of empty area here. You got these empty areas here, and there is actually a lot of, you know, wasted space where this actually does a pretty decent job about it. But anyhow, let's continue. So I packed all the UVs here, and now I need to make them my, you know, real world scale of 50 times 50 centimeters. I'm gonna set a reference. So I'm just gonna select a plane. I'm going to set that plane to be 50 times 50 centimeters. I'm going to apply a texture to it. So that's my unwrapping texture. And now I'm going to convert that to editable poly in my UVReactor or in editable poly. It doesn't really matter. You can just, you know, click. It will be clicked on both places. So just select that polygon. It's going to be selected here and go to texel density. So texel density is the part, like I said, where you can set up a real world scale of something. So click get texel density, and it calculated the texel density, so that's pixels per centimeter per polygon, right? So this is the amount. I'm gonna just select all of my sofas, and now once they're all selected, I'm just gonna click so set texel density. Also, this process took something like somewhere about, I don't know, 5 seconds or something. And I got this. Now, this is one thing that will be improved. So what did it do here? All the nicely packed UV islands, it literally took a single UV island and just scaled it up to the correct texel density. It didn't like scale the whole thing, you know, like just select everything and just scale it so that, you know, everything is equally and nicely spaced, but that will also be improved in the future. And now look at this. I have my plane here. You can just see the size of the checkers, and look at it. Everything is done. The whole thing. Everything perfectly unwrapped. Like when I count in total with all the, you know, flattening and you know, waiting for packing and all that, I literally did this in, I think it's like a minute total. That's the stupidity of the UVReactor. Yeah. So now just looking at the, you know, the whole thing, I just collapsed all the rollouts. You can actually see what all these sections are of what you can actually do with this. So for example, if I go to UV topology and if I select my edge mode, and look, I can literally select my seams like here and here. You're instantly going to see them here. And if you go to the break, for example, and now if you just click number 5 to go to element mode, look at this. All of these are separate UV islands. Look, you can just select them, move them. But here, when you go to the 3D model of your car and you click it, this is of course one whole object. If you, for example, want to model something on this car, we just rotate that like this. And now if I go to my cut tool, for example, look at this. As I'm cutting, you can see the cut being appeared here. Look at it. So now if I go there and if I click here, you can see things happening. Look at this. So select this, and this. And now you can literally go to your UV topology, click break, and now you can just move that island somewhere else. Another cool thing is, for example, grouping. You can even have groups of objects. So look at this. If I go here and let's say I select, you know, the, oh yeah, you know what, this freaking thing, just look at this. That's so damn cool. So if, for example, I have a group, this one, and I'm gonna set group ID to be 1, and I'm gonna click group. And then if I go here and let's say select this chunk, I'm gonna set group 2, I'm gonna click group. And then let's say select this one, group 3, and I'm gonna click group. I can now just go here and set the group ID to be 1, click select group, and it's gonna select the, you know, literally the groups that I chose. If I go to group 2, select that, it's gonna automatically be selected. As you can see, you can like select things by smoothing groups, by material IDs, by seams, no seams, select edge by angle. By the way, all of these selections, you have to be in the edge mode, and then you will, you know, be able to do that. So look at this. If you click select by seams, for example, it's gonna like select only the seams of everything, and you can just do whatever you like with this. If you go, for example, to the align section, you have align shells by edge horizontally, by edge vertically, rotate to optimal. That's also a fancy thing. So look at this. For you to align edge vertically, this edge, like a horizontal edge on this UV shell, and if you click align shell by edge vertically, it's gonna rotate. Okay, hold up, it rotated everything. Okay, so if I select my horizontal edge and I click on align shell by edge vertically, it's just gonna select this one and rotate this edge or this whole shell vertically. You also have rotate to optimal, where you can, you know, Actually, for this rotate to optimal, I think we're gonna like use this as an example. So let's say like this, I have a pillow and I have some islands that are just badly rotated. This one just gonna rotate it, you know, incorrectly. And now what you can do, I'm gonna select this object, and I'm gonna go down and click rotate to optimal, and look at this. So rotate to optimal, it's just gonna, you know, figure out the best way how to position things. It's fantastic. Now, as you can generally get the idea, the whole thing just has a lot of power in it, right? And it can do a lot of things. So I also asked the developer if he can tell me like what are some future plans for this. So buckle up. UDIM support, trim sheet support, UI customization, dockable UI. Well, dockable UI is already implemented. More flexibility to relax limit iteration method selector. Additional flattening called boundary first flattening. Automatic UV seam search. But in general, UVReactor is now out of beta, and you can start using it in your production work. And you can buy UVReactor. Now, UVReactor comes currently for a price of 100 euros for indie license. Usually it's discounted from 150 because there is a ton of things that still need to be integrated in it. But of course, I don't do videos if my crew does not get stuff for free. So yeah, 3 UVReactor licenses are gonna be just given away, right? And the rules are the same as every freaking time. First email sent to renderram.cgi@gmail.com. The license is yours. Like, UVReactor license. My ugly face, the second one, so my ugly face will be hitting somewhere in the video. Now, every time you guys found it, and every time when I thought it's gonna be harder for you to find it, you beep, break the record. So it's, yeah, so my ugly face will be hidden somewhere in the video. Good luck with finding that. And the third method, in 2 weeks from the release of this video, one random comment will win a license. So good luck. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna, you know, do the public draw, etc., and you're gonna see who won the license. So anyhow, chop, find the ugly face, send the email, you know, write the comment, etc., and you're gonna win a license. Let's do this. Unfortunately, since I couldn't make the video earlier, you guys will probably miss this lovely Evermotion 1 week only 30% off sale. But I know that a lot of you visit actually Evermotion website and look, you know, what's the news there, etc. But yeah, check out Evermotion website. You know, like it's 14 hours from now. It's gonna be, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours when the video gets released, or when you watch it, it will probably be 0. But you never know what the new bundle will be. So make sure to check out Evermotion website for all your daily 3D news and all your needs. And yeah, that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.
Just a quick note, this contest is not sponsored by YouTube. I'm solely responsible for the contest and delivering the prizes to winners. Good luck.